It was on the 12th of July 2026 when gunfire shattered the quiet of Mkhuhlu. The inhabitants of the area immediately knew that yet another family was about to receive the kind of news that no one wants to hear. For months, funerals of murdered victims had become an unsettling part of life in the township. Parents were burying their children. Children were burying their parents, and neighbors had watched one murder investigation after another with very little answers. This is the story of not an individual, but a first for this channel, the story of an area, that of Mkhuhlu in Bushbuckridge. Let's get into it. Mkhuhlu is a large semi-rural township with multiple areas in Bushbuckridge in Mpumalanga. It's about 15 kilometers away from Hazyview. Passing Mkhuhlu, as I did coming back from Kruger National Park a while back, it appears like any other township in South Africa. You don't feel unsafe driving past. There's nothing that would suggest that it could be the land of blood. Although by the time I passed there, I had already featured the story of Chief Clyde Sizwe Mnisi, so I knew very well that it was no ordinary township. But how did this seemingly ordinary area in Bush end up as one of the deadliest places in the country? According to Mpumalanga Premier Mandla Dlovu, 37 people have been murdered since the beginning of the year in the Calcutta police imprisonment. Now, Calcutta is an area in Mkhuhlu, and the police station under which the entire Mkhuhlu area falls is Calcutta Police Station. The number of 37 people didn't simply describe a crime problem, but it told a different story, one of a community that has been living through violence and fear long before the rest of the country started paying attention. Outside Mkhuhlu, though, very few people had known just how serious the situation had become. That changed on a cold Sunday evening when 5 people arrived at a home in the township, expecting nothing more than an ordinary visit, but within moments, 4 of them would be dead and another would be fighting for his life. The shooting dominated headlines across the country, prompting senior police officers, provincial leaders, journalists, and those interested in the case to descend on Mkhuhlu, all searching for the same answers that the residents had been looking for months. Why does the violence seem to not end? That is the question that we're going to explore together in this video as we look at previous cases from Mkhuhlu, as we dive deeper into the current case, looking at official police records, police statements, government briefings, and anything that we can find to try and understand what is going on in Mkhuhlu. But before we get into the recent story of the 12th of July, the story that grabbed the attention of the entire country, I want to take you back to some of the high-profile cases coming out of Mkhuhlu. Most notably is the story of Chief Sizwe Clyde Mnisi, who was a 37-year-old chief of the Mnisi Tribal Authority, which was in charge of 11 villages in the area. Chief Clyde Mnisi had his home in Mkhuhlu Section F and owned various businesses that were quite successful, including Pendulane Lodge, that used to host some of the biggest names in the country, including Master KG. Chief Clyde had controversies in his life, though, including legal problems. At the time of his death, he was in fact out on bail, having been linked to or having been accused of being a rhino poaching kingpin. At the same time, the chieftaincy of the Mnisi Tribal Authority, where he was the chief, had been under dispute. So there were factions in the royal family. Some people did not want him to be the chief. In March 2023, the chief was murdered on the side of the road, not far from Khuhlu, when he had a problem with his car and he was waiting with his bodyguard, waiting for help when he was murdered. In a hail of bullets, his bodyguard was left unharmed. Then, 2 days after his funeral, his widow, Charlene Matthews, is gunned down in their home in Section F Mkhuhlu. The house helper was there, but was left unharmed. And as if that is not enough, less than a year later, his two brothers, Buhlari Nyalungu and Punju Nyalungu, both of them from his mother's side, were gunned down at a tavern in Calcutta, Mkhuhlu. Then, in the same year, in June of 2024, his sister, Nshalati Nyalungu, is gunned down at a McDonald's drive-thru in Hazyview. Remember, Hazyview is about 15 minutes away from Mkhuhlu. Someone close to the case, in fact, mentioned in the comments of the previous video, detailed video that I did on this case, that I will link in this video. That person commented that their mother at that point, having lost all her children to gunfire, fled the country to Mozambique. Now, that is a fact I have not been able to verify, but that's part of the story. Then, in May this year, their uncle, Joseph Big Joe Nyalungu. Now, if you are familiar with some of the crime stories coming out of Mpumalanga, including water mafia stories, rhino poaching campaigns, you might be familiar with the name Joseph Big Joe Nyalungu, who has been on the radar of police for suspected rhino poaching as early as 2011. In 2011, he was arrested with the cash amount of 2.3 million rands in cash and rhino parts. And he was accused. He was a police officer, in fact, at that time. And he was accused of being a rhino poacher. It's not clear how that case ended. However, at the time of Chief Clyde Mnizi's death in 2023, remember he had been out on bail. Accused alongside him had been Joseph Big Joe Nyalungu for the crime of rhino poaching that they had been accused of. Now, they were not found guilty in a court of law for that, but that was the accusation. Anyway, back to May this year. Big Joe Nyalungu is gunned down at his business in Mkhuhlu Crossroads. 8 days earlier, he had in fact survived the first attempt at the same location when he was shot in the stomach, in the thigh, and in the arm, but survived. So they came back some 8 days later and finished the job. Another story that happened in March this year was when a couple, that is a 49-year-old man and his 28-year-old girlfriend, were gunned down in the Sinyameni section of Mkhuhlu. They had been traveling in a car with their 3-year-old child, who was also shot, but found in the car still alive. That child did eventually recover. Another story also coming out of Mkhuhlu took place earlier this year, and that is the story of suspected gangster from Hammanskraal, Owami Lulu, who was gunned down in a hail of bullets, also in Mkhuhlu. I am actually making that video, which is going to be the next video released on the channel. You might find it interesting as well. So I'm not going to get too much into the details of Owami in this video. But if you are intrigued by my storytelling, please like this video. That ensures that it reaches more people and helps the channel grow. Moreover, if you're not yet a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. So let's get back to the story that grabbed the attention of ministers and the entire country. That is the story of the 12th of July, 2026. Just before 9:15 in the evening, a vehicle pulls into the crossroads section of Mkhuhlu with 5 occupants in the car. They get out of the car, going into the house of one of them. But before they could step into the house, gunfire breaks out, and within seconds, 4 of them are dead. The other is left fighting for his life. The attack only lasted for seconds, but that was enough to do that much damage, leading to this case becoming one of the most high-profile murder investigations in Mpumalanga right now. The deceased were later identified as 32-year-old Xolani Mona, 31-year-old Midwell Maluka, 28-year-old Suzumu Sisibisi, and 19-year-old Alice Mahlangu. Police have never publicly identified the surviving victim, who was left fighting for his life, taken to the hospital and luckily survived. So they are protecting his identity during the investigation. And within minutes of the murder of the 4 individuals, it was an active crime scene. Police were there and the investigation had begun. Ballistic evidence would suggest that the attackers had used more than one firearm, a rifle as well as a 9mm pistol. The evidence painted to a picture of a carefully executed attack, an assassination. However, what it doesn't reveal is why these 5 individuals were targeted. What investigators did confirm, though, was that the group were arriving together outside Xolani Mona's home shortly before the shooting began. Outside of that, there are still very few details existing on what exactly happened. In the days that followed, though, Mpumalanga Premier would visit the Mkhuhlu area, and this is when he revealed that 37 people have been murdered since the beginning of 2026. For many South Africans, this was a startling statistic. For the residents of Mkhuhlu, though, it reflected a reality they had been living through for months. Soon afterwards, the Premier was joined by the MEC of Community Safety and Security, Jackie Messi, together with the acting Provincial Police Commissioner, Dr. Zeph Mkhwanazi. The delegation assured residents that additional police resources and crime intelligence officers would be deployed to the area to support the investigation. For a community desperate for change, the visit signaled that provincial authorities were now paying attention. But reassurances alone could not erase the months of fear that the people had been living under. So on the 20th of July 2026, hundreds of residents marched to the Calcutta police station along with members of the Mkhuhlu Crisis Committee. They carried a memorandum. They called for a stronger policing and faster progress in unresolved murder cases in the area. They also openly spoke about the fear and questioned why so many killings remained unsolved, alleging that the police were very quick to close cases without investigations, and that perhaps the police were working with criminal syndicates in the area, and this is why none of the murders were being solved. The allegations raised during that march have not been proven in a court of law, and the police have not admitted any wrongdoing. Social media users have also suggested that this attack of the 4 individuals was connected to organized crime or criminal syndicates who are operating across provincial borders, including alleged links to Hammanskraal, while others also attempted to connect the shooting to earlier murders that took place in Mkhuhlu. And the idea that this could be related to cross-provincial crime syndicates, including criminal syndicates in Hammanskraal, would then link us back to Owamidludlu, who was allegedly a known gangster from Hammanskraal, but gunned down in Mkhuhlu. And that is the story. That is what is happening in Mkhuhlu. That is the reason why you may be hearing of Mkhuhlu in the news. You may be seeing the name on social media, but unaware of what is actually happening in this area that is grabbing so much attention of the country. But I'm also interested in your perspective. Perhaps you are someone in Mkhuhlu and this shows up on your feed. What is your understanding from an insider's perspective of what's going on in Mkhuhlu? Or maybe you are watching and you are an outsider like I am, and you read news articles and you have your own perspective of what could be going on in the country. Please share it in the comment section. I look forward to engaging with you on this case that is still ongoing. So the matters of most people that I mentioned in this story remain unsolved to this day. That is it for today's story. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.